Welcome to this video on list comprehension in Python. What we will learn are what is list comprehension, what are the different variations in the syntax for list comprehension, and we will see some examples using a Jupyter notebook. When we say list comprehension, it is used to create a new list based on an existing list. And after creating a new list, it returns the new list. Please note that the old list remains unchanged. The basic advantage of using a list comprehension is it will have a very short syntax. In fact, it will be one line of code, and we will find that it is faster to create new lists using list comprehension than using loops. The syntax for list comprehension is new list is equal to, please note that there has to be a list symbol, which is a square bracket, within which we write an expression for item in old list. The name of the new list is new list. The expression that has to be evaluated is given here. Every item is taken from the old list and the expression is evaluated, and the expression after evaluation is created as a new list. A simple example is given here. I have a list with the values 2, 1, and 5. And I create a new list with the values added by 2, which is 4, 3, and 7. Let's see in detail how this happens. This is the example that we have taken. Initially, we have item, and the expression that is evaluated is item plus 2. Item initially takes a value 2. The expression that is evaluated results in 4. Then item takes the value 1 from old list. Item plus 2 is 3. Then the item 5 is taken, and the expression's final answer is 7. And this results in a new list with the values 4, 3, and 7. And the new list, we have named it in the variable new list. Let's see the difference between using a list comprehension and what happens when we do not use list comprehension. The problem statement is to multiply every item of the list with the value 3 and create the new list. So the old list is from 1 to 5. First, we initialize a new list, which is empty. And then we take item by item from the old list, multiply it with 3, and then append it to the new list. That is, create empty list, evaluate, and append to list. But when we have list comprehension, the entire thing is done in one single line of code where we say for item in old list, item star 3. That is, first we give the expression item star 3 for item in old list and have the entire syntax within a list symbol. Shall we check if we have understood the problem? By initializing a set of 5 elements with the value infinity, and then let's print the contents of the list. So let me have the new list as new list is equal to, I need to put the list symbol. I have to take 5 items. So I in range 5. Now, what do I want? I want these to have the value infinity. So can use math.inf from math. And then let me print new list. So I have created a list of 5 elements where each element has the value infinity. Let's look at this with an example. Consider the case where I want to take only the even numbers in a list and add 2 to it. So as usual, I have for item an old list and I do item plus 2, but only if item mod 2 is equal to 0. So how the evaluation takes place is we have item and then item mod 2 and then item plus 2. First item takes the value 2. It is an even number. There is no remainder. And so item mod 2 will be equal to 0. And this results in item plus 2, which is 4. And then item takes the value 1. This evaluates to false. And so this item is ignored. 5 also results in the condition becoming false. And so this is also not taken into the new list. So the new list now has only one value, which is 4. Let's see how this works without a list comprehension. So when we do not have a list comprehension, we try to write an example, a list where it looks for a condition but does not use a list comprehension. So first we will be creating an empty list. Then we will take one by one the item and check the condition for every item in the list. And then we will evaluate and append the value to the list. But the same thing, when we use a list comprehension, it can be written in a single line as item plus 2 for item in old list if item mod 2 is equal to 0. So the general syntax for list comprehension is new list is equal to, within a list symbol, expression for item in iterable if condition. Please note the syntax says for item in iterable. That is, it takes each item in the iterable, checks the condition, evaluates the expression, creates a new list, and returns the list. So far, we have seen examples in which we are taking the items from a list. But the general syntax is to take it from any iterable. Iterable is anything that can be used as a sequence. Some of the example iterables are range, list, tuple, dictionary, set, and string. Let's see what happens when we use the range in a code without list comprehension. So here the intention is to take 5 elements from 1 to 5 and then multiply each element with 3 and create a new list. So as usual, I create an empty list. I take the values from 1 to 5. I multiply each value with 3 and then I append it to the list. Please note, since I have given range from 1 to 6, range takes the values from 1 to 6 minus 1, which is 5. But when we have list comprehension, I can write it as for x in range 1, 6. I could have also have written it as range of 5. It would give me the same answer. I'm taking every value in the range, which is x, and multiplying it with 3. The iterable can be any iterable, but the final answer will be a list. Let's use strings in list comprehension. The problem statement is to convert every character to uppercase and then store it as a list. In the simplest form, you will probably be writing it as, let's say the list is how are you. So you will take character by character in how are you. And then for each character, you will be converting it into the uppercase using the upper built-in method. So it is char.upper. So the entire syntax is char.upper for char and how are you. And then we finally print the string. This slide is not about list comprehension, but got more to do with strings. wherein I just want to join all the characters in an iterable. So as usual, we have char.upper for char and how are you, and that returns a list. But as we know, it returns a list where the list is composed of single characters H, O, W, etc. in uppercase. This list is an iterable, and this is passed as a parameter to the join function. And finally, we get it as a single string. The syntax for the join method is string name, that is the new string that is created. And I specify the separator as a string. Here I need a blank string as a separator. And join takes as parameter a single iterable. Here the iterable that we have given is a list. So in this manner, it is possible to convert every character to uppercase and then create a new single string. What we have also seen is that list comprehension can be passed as a parameter to functions. So far, we have seen expressions that were simple arithmetic expressions. Please note that it is also possible to have conditional expressions. So let's look at this with an example. Consider an example where you want to check if the value is a multiple of 5 and then return the string multiple of 5 if it is a multiple of 5, else it returns not a multiple of 5. So I have given y to be 5. And if you look at the last part, for x in 2, 1, 5, 14, 10. So as usual, this can be written for item in old list. That is the last part for x in each of the values in the tuple. We have written the entire thing within a list. But look at the expression. So here, if you look at the expression, this entire set of statements form the expression. So here, as seen so far, this is not a simple arithmetic expression, but it is a conditional expression. How does this work? It takes the value of x, which is 2, checks if it's a multiple of 5. If it is a multiple of 5, the value multiple of 5 is written into this list, else it writes the string not multiple of 5 into the list. Like this, it performs for every single value in the tuple that is given. Let's check if we have understood. Let's take a list of values. Write a code to check if the values are in the format plus NNN hyphen, where NNN are numbers. If the format is wrong, we print wrong format. If the format is right, we change to the format. All the 3 numbers are given within parentheses. And finally, we print the contents of the new list in the new format. To solve this problem, first let's take a list of strings which may or may not be of the format starting with plus and ending with minus. Since we are searching for patterns, let's use the regular expressions. So now I have pattern. The pattern must be such that it should start, for which I use the caret symbol. It should start with a plus. Remember to use the escape sequence. And it can end with a minus. So this is the pattern I'm searching for. Let me reiterate. This shows that it has to start with a plus, and this shows what the ending should be. Since I'm going to use the concept of regular expressions, let me import RE. And I have run it. Create a new cell. Let me create a new list is equal to, let me write the simple list for item in num Now, what should I do for every item in num? I need to check for if re dot search, I search for the pattern in every item. If it is false, I simply write a wrong format. But if it is correct, first I substitute. Remember, substitute takes 3 parameters. I substitute minus with the closing parenthesis in item. But I also have to change plus to opening parenthesis. And remember, I have to do this on the final answer that was returned by re.sub minus replaced with closing parenthesis. So first I replace minus with closing parenthesis in item. I now have a new string where every minus is replaced by a closing parenthesis. And then I replace the new string in such a way that all plus is replaced by an opening parenthesis. And then let me print new list. Please note, this will not work until and unless you give the escape sequence, without which you will have the error nothing to repeat at position 0 being displayed. Now if we try to run it, we see that plus 2 and 2 minus is replaced with this. This is in the wrong format, so it is replaced with wrong format. And plus 490 minus is replaced with 490 within parenthesis. Just like we have a single for loop in list comprehension, it is also possible to have nested for loops. The corresponding for loop without list comprehension is shown below for understanding. Let's say I create a new list. I take item in the range 2 to 5. So item takes the values 2, 3, and 4. And element takes the value 0 and 1 because it is in the range of 2. So initially item will have the value 2, element will continuously change between 0 and 1, and item is multiplied with element. When we write it as a list comprehension, the same way we write for item in range of 2, 5, for element in range of 2, the same syntax follows here. And of course, the expression to be evaluated for both is given in the expression. So initially item takes the value 2, element takes the value 0, and item into element is equal to 0. If you can look at in the output, that's the first element in the list. Then item takes the value 2, element takes the value 1, item into element is 2, that's the second element in the list. Then item takes the value 3, element oscillates between 0 and 1, where item remains at 3. And then we have item into element taking the value 0 and 3. Then item goes to 4, element becomes 0, item into element is 0, item becomes 4, element is 1, and item into element is equal to 4. Let's look at another example. Can you spot the difference that is there in the example that is given? If you look at the previous example that we had written, I'm sure you noticed that this list symbol was not present. So what difference does it make when this list symbol is given here? This is similar to your outer loop having element in the range 1, 3, but you have a list comprehension where item is taken in the range of 2 to 5, that is 2, 3, 4, and element is multiplied to it. Let's see in detail. First element takes the value 1, and in L1, item takes the values 2, 3, and 4, and then every value is multiplied with the value 1. So the list which is finally created is also 2, 3, 4, and that list is returned in L1. So L1 initially has the list 2, 3, 4. This is appended to the new list. Next, element takes the value 2. Item again takes the value 2, 3, and 4. But 2, 3, and 4 are multiplied with 2. And so in L1, we have the list 4, 6, 8. Initially, new list had the list 2, 3, 4. Now we have created a new list 4, 6, 8. And now the new list is a list of lists having the values 2, 3, 4 and 4, 6, 8. Check if we have understood. First, we're going to take a list of strings. And these strings might be composed of multiple words. The problem is to give the list of all the words that are present in all the strings in the list. And then finally, we print the contents of the list. So let me take a list of strings. Let's say it's proverbs. Now, I have to form a new list of words. And in that, I have to take each proverb one by one from proverbs. So first PROV has time and tide wait for none. So in that, I have to split it in such a way that for every word in proverb, I want to split it based on the blank space. And then I return word. Now let me print new list. If you look at the output, this is what we have expected. So first I took proverb by proverb. And then for every proverb, I split it into words. And then this word was stored in the list, new list. Let's check if we have understood this by doing a code that helps to add two given matrices and then prints the contents of the resultant matrix. First, let's find the number of rows and number of columns in the matrix. So the number of rows, I can get it from the len of any matrix. And the number of columns, I can get it from the length of any matrix, 0th element or first element or whatever it is. So I know that there are 2 rows and 3 columns. Let's go row by row. So the resultant matrix is equal to for in. So to take row by row, we have in range of len of matrix 1. So this helps me to take it row by row. For that, I need to do for every column for jn range of len of mat1's 0. So what do I need to do for this? We need to do mat1 of I, j plus mat2 of I, j, and then let me print the result. So what has happened? We have added 1 plus 11, 12, 2 plus 12, 14, 3 plus 13, 16, and created the first row. Similarly, created the second row, 18, 20, and 22. Congratulations. You have learned how to use list comprehension, and you have worked out different examples which will help you give a very fair understanding of list comprehension. The code that were used in this video can be found in the GitHub link given in the course description. Thank you once again.